Come closer. Let me tell you a secret, they whisper in boardrooms and back alleys, but never dare say aloud. You have been sold a lie, a comfortable, modern, and utterly useless myth. The myth of the nice leader, the friendly boss, the agreeable partner, the one who seeks consensus, avoids confrontation, and desperately wants to be liked. You believe this is a strength. You believe that affection breeds loyalty, that smiles build empires. You are wrong. Affection is a currency for children and pets. It is fickle. It is dependent on mood and circumstance. The same team that loves you for buying pizza on Friday will abandon you the moment you have to announce budget cuts on Monday. Your friends who enjoy your generosity will vanish the instant you require a difficult favor. Love is a fragile foundation on which to build anything of consequence. It crumbles under the slightest pressure, because it is not earned, it is merely given, and it can be taken away just as easily. This is not a new problem. 500 years ago, a man in Florence saw the truth with perfect, cold clarity. Niccolò Machiavelli. He wrote the words that have made the comfortable and the naive shudder ever since. It is better to be feared than loved. Now, stop. Do not picture a shouting tyrant or a cruel despot. That is the brute's interpretation. It is clumsy, inefficient. The fear I speak of is not the terror of a raised voice or a slammed fist. That is a display of weakness, a confession that you have lost control. No, the fear we will cultivate is a different beast entirely. It is silent, it is elegant, it is the chilling, unshakable respect for your competence and your will. It is the quiet, certain knowledge that your standards are absolute, and that consequence for failing them is not emotional, but simply inevitable, like gravity. It is the fear one has of a deep ocean or a high-voltage line, not because it is evil, but because it is powerful and it is true. This fear is the most stable currency of power, and today I will teach you the 3 laws to acquire it. The first is the law of unforgiving standards. You do not demand excellence from others. You embody it so completely that your very presence becomes the standard. Your own work is so meticulous, your own discipline so absolute, that it makes mediocrity uncomfortable. You never have to raise your voice about a sloppy report or a lazy effort. You simply look at it, and with no anger, no disappointment, just a calm finality, you say, "This is not it. Do it again." The shame of falling short of a standard so clearly held is a far more powerful motivator than any scolding. In the office, the team learns that bringing you anything less than their absolute best is a waste of their time and yours. Their work improves not because you threatened them, but because they desperately want to meet the quiet, impossibly high bar you have set by your own example. They begin to fear their own mediocrity, and that is a power you could never buy with a friendly smile. This leads us to the second and most crucial law, the law of quiet consequence. Anger is a performance. Outbursts are for amateurs who have no other tools. True power administers consequence without emotion. It is a simple matter of cause and effect. You said you would do a thing. You did not do it. A consequence will now follow. It is not personal. It is physics. Imagine an employee who consistently fails to deliver on time. There are no dramatic confrontations. The first time a brief, private meeting occurs, the facts are stated, the expectation is reset. The second time, their role on the project is quietly diminished. They are removed from the critical path. They are not shouted at. They are not humiliated. They are simply made irrelevant. The message sent to the entire organization is more terrifying than any termination. It says, "We do not punish incompetence here. We simply excise it." In your personal life, consider the friend who is perpetually late, who cancels at the last minute. You do not argue. You do not lecture. You simply stop inviting them to time-sensitive engagements. You organize your life as if they have already proven they cannot be relied upon. The consequence is not a fight. It is the cold, silent click of a door they are no longer invited to walk through. The result is the same. They either correct their behavior to regain access, or they are permanently removed from your equation. No drama necessary. But this is not about being a monster. A predictable monster is still a monster, and monsters are eventually slain. That is why the third law is the most sophisticated. The law of strategic mercy. Once your reputation for unyielding standards and inevitable consequence is firmly established, only then can you use mercy. Mercy from a weak person is meaningless. It is just niceness. But mercy from a person who holds the power of ruin in their hands, that is a tool of incredible power. Imagine a loyal, high-performing subordinate makes a genuine, catastrophic error. Everyone holds their breath, expecting you to enact the consequence they all know you are capable of. They expect annihilation. Instead, you absorb the failure publicly. You shield them. Then, in private, you look them in the eye and say, "Everyone gets one catastrophic mistake. That was yours. See to it that you do not make another." In that moment, you have bought a form of loyalty that love and money could never imagine. You have demonstrated that your power is not a blind, raging force. It is a deliberate, calculating intelligence. You chose to spare them. The fear of disappointing you becomes exponentially greater, because they now know you are not just a force of nature, but a sovereign who can grant a pardon. They will walk on fire for you, not because they like you, but because they respect and fear the judgment you wield. So you see, the choice was never truly between being loved and being feared. That was a simplification for princes of a bygone era. The modern choice is between being liked and being necessary, between being a fleeting comfort and being an undeniable force. Love is a request to be accepted. Fear, in its purest form, is a demand to be respected. They do not have to enjoy your company. They do not have to ask about your weekend. But when the structure is failing, when the enemy is at the gates, when a decision that matters must be made, their eyes will turn to you, not with affection, but with a profound, quiet, and deeply productive fear. The fear of your competence, the fear of your will, the fear that you are the only one who can see the world for what it is, and the only one with the strength to act on it.